Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
If you'd like to sponsor Still Got Game, give us a call at 773-527-2961 or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still Got Game, episode 370. Still Got Game is the official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
And Tiffany Electrified Nolan will be joining us later from the news desk. And Roger Hitman Roken will have always joined us in the after show. And he is super producing as we speak right now. So the gang's all here. And we've been gone a month. It's fucked up.
Full month.
A full month. Disappointing. And some people let us know every single week on Twitter. One person at like 6 a.m. That person is Blue Steel.
Yeah, he's always ready to be like, you guys are shit at what you do. And then he still shows up and hangs out. So
Yep. Blue lets us
say
know.
whatever he wants. You know, he's fine.
Lets us know when we're letting him down. And you know what? I do not deny it. We let you down for a few weeks. We had some conflicts. There were some holidays. Jay had some weird shit going on, but we got shit dialed now. I feel like we're back in effect until we get to the Christmas / New Year's.
I was just saying we're back in effect for like two weeks,
3 weeks tops.
And then I go on vacation for 2 weeks too. So, hey.
Yeah. Once Christmas and New Year's come around, it's the Wild West again. But at least for right now, you have us at least for this week and next week, maybe the week after also. So just enjoy what you got. Take it as like an overdose, and that way, hopefully, that OD will carry you into the next time you can score a show. All right. Well, I guess we'll just hop in the show proper, and we'll start off with feedback from last week's show. If you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Nzaki919 comments. I just started listening to your podcast and really enjoy it. I was listening to the Giant Bombcast on Stitcher, and yours came up as recommended.
So explain Stitcher to me. Is it still a thing?
It apparently is still a thing because they send me updates all the time of like,
really?
Oh yeah, like your Stitcher audience and improve your Stitcher audience. I was just never really sure who wanted Stitcher instead of listening to actual podcasts.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was I thought it was like a popular thing for a while. I wasn't sure if it had caught on enough where people.
I think it's got like they offer separate advertising. We could pick to have Stitcher do advertising for us, and they would insert it in and all this other stuff. So I think they have a market now. I'm still just not sure who the user is. Like there obviously have to be people using it because they wouldn't be in business still, but. It's a weird model where people just can't download their podcasts and they have to stream them. But actually, you know what? If any of you that are in our audience, besides Nzaki or Nzaki919, are people that use Stitcher, let us know why you do that instead of using your native podcast app or whatever else, because it's pretty weird. It's also weird that there's some sort of algorithm on Stitcher that we get recommended after the Giant Bombcast because we're definitely not the same sort of show. Well, we are kind of the same sort of show. We're just in different.
It's a gaming show. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not the same, but it's the same genre, which I'm sure is enough to create some sort of relationship. So.
Yeah. Oh, either way, we're glad we have you on Zaki, and we're glad people are still on Stitcher listening to us. And if you are one of those people, please let us know why and how. All right. Boldly Bald comments. Good show last month. I wish the post-show was a little longer. But other than that, I have no complaints.
You know, sometimes the post-show is long. It just depends, right?
Yeah, we had that episode where it was as long as
an hour.
Show.
Yeah, it was a full hour. I mean, if there's something interesting in the show, and again, gaming news sometimes isn't all that interesting. And usually if there's no releases, then there's no game to even talk about. So if there is, though, then that tends to mean that something else is going to fill the show time after the show. It's usually maybe not even show related. Sometimes we just have something on our minds that's not show related that we'll talk about too.
Or something in the cultural zeitgeist, like if we're all talking about Walking Dead or whatever, Game of Thrones, something like that. Those tend to be our longer episodes when we can just riff on something that we all enjoy besides what we talked about during the show. But it's not like we set a time for the after show. We're not like, guys, tonight we're doing 60 minutes. It's what happens, and when it naturally winds down, it's when it ends. So we'll do our best to keep it longer and entertaining, but we can't force it.
No, it's not scripted.
Yeah,
it's not
if we force it,
whatever.
then it's not interesting. So the part of the beauty of it is that it's completely off the cuff. So we do our best. It's not like we try to cut you short, but if we do, it's not intentional. And maybe the next week you'll get the long one that you so love. And that's what she said. All right. Toxic 12321 comments. You M-fucks are pretty funny. I was listening on the train and literally laughed out loud. Pretty sure everyone thought I was nuts. Is M-fucks a thing?
Yeah, it's like mofocus.
Well, I know mofocus. I know motherfuckers. But I've never, M-fucks just doesn't seem like it rolls off the tongue because it has like a hard stop and then a hard start.
Well, you're supposed to read it as motherfuckers, but you're just so lazy that you can't type it out.
Okay. So it's shorthand. For
I feel like it's shorthand. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's not M-fucks.
Right. Like it might eventually be M-fucks, just like LOL was laughing out loud, but now you lol.
You lol it. Yeah.
Right. So who knows?
I see that. All right.
He's trying to get something started here. He's trying to get like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on.
We're on the ground floor with M-fucks. Let's do this, M-fucks. Yeah, I laugh out loud sometimes too. Actually, during the show. But
I LOL.
Yeah. It's not as weird when we do it here because we're actually on the show. But if you're on a train, I guess it's a little weirder. But it is what it is. All right. Well, Enzaki, Boldly Bald, and Toxic12321, thank you for those comments. And if any of you have awesome comments like those guys, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And on that, why don't we hop on over into what we're playing? Joel Dude I Rock Albert, what have you been playing this month?
Let's see. Destiny 2, PUBG, Fortnite, Mario, and Shadows of Mordor.
Well, you picked up Shadows of Mordor.
I got it with my 1080 and I forgot that it came with it. And then I've had the 1080 for like a month and I haven't installed it. I finally installed it 2 days ago. And then I was like, holy shit, I got Shadows of Mordor. And I'm actually loving the game.
Wow.
Yeah, I hate single player games.
That repetitive orc.
Yes.
Cool with you?
Playing like constantly. Yeah. Like, you get to find new ways to do assassinations, all this weird shit. It's very Assassin's Creed, right? But like dumbed down and like not, you just do what you want to do. You can do the story or you don't, but you just sort of like mindlessly go around slashing and hacking, which is,
Now they still have the Nemesis thing in there where you have like a Nemesis guy.
Oh, yeah. The Nemesis guy. They got online vendettas now. So like if a friend of yours gets killed, you can go kill the orc that killed him and claim the vendetta for him. There's like, I don't have any friends online, but if I did,
that's only because you're playing PC.
Yeah,
if you're playing on Xbox,
I'd have a ton, right? But I have like 3 other people on Steam that are playing it. But it's cool. Like it's a different pace. The Mario is absolutely unbelievable game. That I have to say, I've been having insane amounts of fun with. If I had more time, I'd probably be just playing that. But I mostly play PUBG still. So that's where I'm at. Yep. And that's coming to Xbox December 12th, I believe.
Yes, it is. A week after the Destiny expansion. So it's like nonstop shit coming in through December. Exactly.
Yep. What are you playing?
Well, I do my weekly Destiny 2 penance. I pay that, do the raid. It's fun with our raid team. I get to see those guys, and pretty much that's all we do it for. And then after the Xbox One X came out, I played basically anything and everything I could find with 4K just to check it out. So I played some Madden, believe it or not. And being an EA Access guy, I didn't need to buy it because I have 10 hours to play on all the EA Access games. So Madden in 4K is fucking delicious. And then we busted back out Diablo 3, which was also got a 4K patch, and we hadn't played that in forever. I had a bunch of max level characters, and that was actually pretty fun for in-room gameplay. But couch co-op. Other than that, though, that's about it. I'm looking forward to the Destiny patch next week, is it next week or the week after? Yeah, it is next week.
No, it's next week. Is it next week?
Well, today's the 27th, second. No, so it'd be. Yeah, it would be next week. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's the actual date that it's releasing on?
I think it's like the 6th. I think it's a Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. It's not a lot of stuff, but it's stuff.
And it's 4K for those of you not on PC playing PC Master Race.
Yeah, I've been doing that for months now.
Wow. By months, you mean like 3 weeks?
By 3 weeks, I mean 144 frames per second. Oh, that's right. You can't get that yet. That's right. You don't have that ability.
Yes,
that's a shame.
Yep. I could. Believe me, I have a PC in front of me that's perfectly capable of that. But I also like playing with my friends. So I just such a smaller friend base on PC for Destiny. So how many people are in your Destiny raid team? Or in your Destiny clan on PC?
The clan?
Oh, you have the same clan, so doesn't really count.
That's what I love is that you get all the benefits from both sides. But so if anyone does the raid for those of you who don't know, if anyone does the raid on the Xbox side, you get credit for it on the PC side. Yep. So they don't totally, obviously mingle, but any rewards do, which is nice. But I play with a bunch of Hits friends and a couple other people, but that's about it. It's just a small group of 6. We play around.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It's probably tough to pull together a giant crowd on PC.
And you don't want it anyway, right? Because raid teams don't generally flux too much. It's rare to have like maybe one guy doesn't show up, but we've actually never had that. We've had consistent weeks so far.
Thanks.
But it's like you get in, you do the raid, takes 20 minutes, and you're done.
Yep.
About it.
That thing down to speed mode too now. Yeah. It's so good. All right. Well, this would normally be the time of the show that we jump on over to new releases, but only an idiot would put out a new release between, Thanksgiving and Christmas because you already wanted the Black Friday sale. So these are going to be some slow weeks on new releases. So we have none this week. So I guess on that, we will hop on over into gaming news. Tiffany Electrify Nolan, what's going on?
Not much. So quick to get over to me. I was almost not ready.
You've had like a month and a half to prepare because you missed the previous 2 shows before that.
Okay, we don't need to talk about that.
So how are you feeling? You ready to do some news tonight?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, first story.
Humvee maker sues Activision for using its trucks in Call of Duty, and this comes from Joystick X Engadget. The maker of Humvee is suing the publisher of the Call of Duty series for using its military vehicles in the games without permission. And this is coming from Reuters. In its lawsuit, AM General LLC accused Activision Blizzard Inc. of reaping billions of dollars by using both the Humvee and HMMWV trademarks in the games and related toys and books. The High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, aka the HMMWV or Humvee, is a 4-wheel drive light military truck that's been deployed in war zones in Iraq and Afghanistan. And on the virtual battlefield in Call of Duty, which started life in 2003 and has been breaking sales records ever since. By 2016, Activision was touting over 250 million copies sold of the first-person shooter with more than $15 billion in revenue. AM General thinks its trucks played a large part in that success. The company claims that Activision duped gamers into believing that AM General licenses the games or is somehow involved in their creation. After more than a year of alleged failed communications with the video game publisher, it's now seeking compensatory, punitive, and triple damages from Activision, which should amount to a lot of dough. Activision is refusing to comment on the pending legal matter. Wow. So, them Humvees, huh, guys?
Yeah.
Selling all those games?
I just always assumed when they were in the game that they had licensed those.
Yeah, it's weird that I don't know if I get the whole duped piece though, like that they duped gamers into belief. Like I don't.
I
don't buy that.
I wouldn't say I was duped into thinking, but actually I kind of was because whenever there's something in a game that's a licensed product, I always assume that there was some kind of deal for it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess you
like if you look at Forza, they only have cars that they've made deals to license.
Yeah, they have to have the licenses on it. Yeah,
Forza can't put in a Humvee if they want. Like, so why can Call of Duty?
I don't know if it's weird. It's just weird that someone as big as Activision wouldn't
go through
all the
that
T's and dot all the I's. Like why leave
Yeah.
something as glaring as that out for so long? Now, do
Were they
have,
just
like, the
dumb enough to
brand-
think it was like an open source thing? Like they're just like, oh, those are military vehicles. They don't count.
Well, part of me is wondering if there's anything to that, right? Because it's a government. It is a government automobile. Yes, it's built by a private company, but it's also owned by the government, i.e., owned by the people. So I don't know. I wonder how all that works out. And are they using like? Because sometimes they'll like build a Corvette looking thing, but they won't put any of the emblems on it, and then that's okay.
So when I put this story in here, I pulled up an image from Call of Duty, and it has the logo in the front.
Yeah, that might be a little different.
I know,
You're using the branding directly on the actual car. Yeah, I don't know then. Then I think it would actually probably be in trouble. It just seems odd to me that they would miss this.
I know. Like they have so many attorneys that look over everything. They're like, that guy's drinking a soda. It looks a little like a Coke. You need to change that can. But meanwhile, they're like, copy the Humvee. Put it in there. Yeah, put the logo in the front. People won't think it's a Humvee if it doesn't have that. Like, it just
seems so weird to me. Like, I mean, if it's true, I suppose it is true. But if so, then I can't see that Activision really has any sort of a case really to fight against this. I mean, if it's, the thing will be arguing what are the actual punitive damages.
Yeah.
Like, what is the damage? It could be nothing, right? But and realistically, I don't know what damage has been done to the brand of a Humvee in a war game when that's literally what your automobile is designed to do. So I sort of fail to see what revenue they've missed out on. If anything, I would think that it promotes the Humvee, and they just get complimentary benefits just from being in the game without having to do anything at all. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like free advertising on one side, and the other side, though, it's like. It makes Activision's game more realistic by having it in there. So there is some sort of perceived benefit, but I wouldn't want to be the guy that has to put a dollar value on this because who the fuck knows, right?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Like what real damages that's the thing is I would like, even if I could see some sort of an example of like what could have been done to the brand to hurt the brand or what revenue they lost out on by not, I guess the revenue is that they didn't, usually when you license something, you pay to license it. So it's whatever that revenue would have been for licensing that brand. So, and I think they could easily argue that and then come up with a number of what is the normal going rate for licensing automobiles and come up with a round figure.
Especially if there's been a game like Ghost Recon or someone else that's licensed their vehicle and they could be like, look, we got this from them and they sold X amount of copies and we would have charged you that same X per copy and you sold 100 times that number of copies, and so it could be a big penalty. But I don't know. It's a weird story. It borders on almost what the fuckish, except it's actual legal news. So
yeah. The irony will be then if they do win and there isn't some agreement that's come up with, and then they have to remove all the Humvees from the game, and all of a sudden you see like Humzees, and they're like slightly modified versions of what a Humvee might be. I don't know. We'll see. Interesting.
Good stuff. All right, next story.
Nintendo boosting Switch production. Could make 30 million consoles next year, and this comes from Gamasutra. Nintendo wants to significantly ramp up Switch production, and according to the Wall Street Journal, is reportedly finalizing a plan to create another 25 million to 30 million units in the next financial year. While Nintendo has made no secret of its desire to increase Switch production to satisfy burgeoning consumer demand, the new figures are significantly higher than those previously touted by the company. Early reports suggested that Japanese Giant would manufacture 16 million consoles next year, but now it seems Nintendo intends to almost double that amount. What's more, the 30 million figure could even end up being a conservative estimate, with people familiar with the matter claiming the company might even aim higher. The latest official figures put Switch sales at 7.63 million, but Nintendo expects sales to reach 14 million by the end of the fiscal year. That is a lot of holiday shopping. Or I guess it depends on when their fiscal year ends. If that happens, the Switch will have surpassed the Wii U's lifetime sales total of 13.56 million in just 12 months. So, That is a lot of Switches going on. And I'm actually going to look up their, see when their fiscal year ends.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see when that is, because you're effectively trying to double the amount that you've sold, and I would assume a fairly short period of time. I mean, granted, it's really only been a year, but it is the holiday season, and now they have the games. Like, if you're interested in buying a Switch now, when we first purchased ours, hitting myself, it was Zelda. You bought Zelda. That's all you had,
and you had Zelda for 4 months.
Yeah,
before you got Splatoon, right? That was
right.
Was that the next one?
Splatoon, and then you had Mario Kart 8 again with the multiplayer and all the new stuff. So that wasn't really a new game, but. No. But yeah, like now there's enough games currently in the roster to make it completely worth buying a Switch. Zelda is obviously, again, one of the best games I think that have come out in the last 2-3 years. Mario is just smashing it on reviews, and it deserves all of the kudos that it gets. You have Splatoon, you have all the other stuff. So it's definitely worth buying one now, and it being at the time where it's sort of matured and people are aware of it. I definitely think you're going to see a lot of sales. So they've always been under the issue of having not enough of these things. And we talked about it last week or a month ago that this is their problem continuously. And they're solving that problem. So now we get to see, are people really this interested in it? Like that they're going to be readily available? And can they actually push the numbers that they describe here? I don't know.
It is the holiday season. A lot of people, being the video game guy at work, lots of people come to ask me questions all the time. My kids want this, my kids want that. And there are people that know their kids are Nintendo people and they want to pick up the next Nintendo thing. And I definitely could not have recommended the Wii U at all.
No, I had one and I literally played it, I think, twice.
But this one for kids, I definitely could recommend it. But for adults, I know you and Hick got it, but it's still 720p. It's still last gen. It's still for especially for you PC Master Race guys. I'm surprised you guys suck this giant hog so much. But
it's the game. There's no games that compare currently. Like if you like playing video games and you care about video games and you want to find games that are different, more interesting, and actually sort of buck the trend, you buy a Nintendo device. That's the thing. Is this could be in 480p. It wouldn't really matter. I still would have bought it.
I know.
Zelda is one of the best games that has been made in the last 5 years. Period. It is so good.
But just still imagine though, if you could have played that Zelda game on your PC, on an Xbox One.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, so if you're a Switch user, I would say that what makes Zelda so good is actually not just, the game's amazing. You're right. Even on a PC, it would have been amazing. But having it on the Switch actually almost makes the game even better, because I've played those games when I wouldn't have access to playing any other video games except for my shitty mobile device, which I do not play video games on my mobile device. I hate it. No. So the point of it is that it's already an amazing game, probably one of the best games in the last decade, and I keep going further and further back every time I talk about it. But it is also great because it's portable and I could take it anywhere I want and play it. Plug it into a TV, keep it on a stand, dock it, take the controllers out, play it sitting on a desk. Yes, it's not 1080p, 4K, blah 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 blah. It's not. But to be fair, I have a much more than 4K capable graphics card, and I play it at 1080 because I care more about FPS and I give a shit about resolution. Resolution no longer matters anymore in video games. So it's I'm sure you can argue that resolution does matter. I would argue that if you're playing a video game on a 24-inch monitor, the need to play that at 4K is drastically lower. There's almost no reason to play it. But it's a great game, and so if they continue to make great games, then the reason to buy one, only gets I think greater. Yeah. The fiscal year ends in March, is what Tiff is telling us. So that's
even that though. That's still pretty aggressive.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. It's not a year's worth of time.
That's like a third of a year to double your sales. Yeah. But it is the holiday season. So
it is the holiday season, and then again they have great games. So I don't know if you like video games and you like playing video games, buy a Switch.
Yep. Basically. Fair enough. All right. Next story.
EA buys Respawn for $455 million. New Titanfall game is confirmed. And this comes from IGN. Respawn Entertainment, the studio behind the Titanfall franchise, is being bought by EA. Both companies are already working together on several projects, including a VR game, a Star Wars game, and quote, a new title in the Titanfall franchise. EA announced the acquisition Thursday, which was, I don't even know what Thursday, many Thursdays ago, saying the move, quote, builds on a successful publishing partnership already in place between the two companies. Respawn CEO Vince Zampella says the move brings the resources and support his company needs for its long-term success. We're excited to combine our strengths, he said of the acquisition. In a statement on Respawn's site, Zampella said, there will be no layoffs or major organization changes at Respawn, and games currently in development are continuing as planned. EA is paying $151 million up front for Respawn, with $164 million in long-term equity paid out over the next 4 years. There's also a long-term consideration worth a maximum of $140 million. Back in August, Respawn promised fans that there would be more Titanfall on the way, with Zampella saying Respawn is heavily invested in the Titanfall franchise. In May of 2016, EA first announced Respawn was working on a new third-person Star Wars game. All right, so how do you guys feel about this deal?
Yeah.
So it's a shame that they're closing down Respawn. That's a shame. But the deal's good for the next year that it lasts until they inevitably get closed down.
And the title just
goes away
somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I can see your paranoid point of view, because it's not like EA hasn't done this a million times.
I was going to say I think we're at the point now where it's no longer paranoia. It's closer to inevitability. If a game does not sell, here's the weird thing with Respawn, right? They don't necessarily do very well, right? Titanfall has historically not sold a lot of copies. It is review wise, it's high. Right, it's always like a 10 out of 10, but no one ever buys the game ever
because they don't know when to put it out. They're always like, "Hey, I don't disagree with you." Let's put it out on the same weekend as Battlefield 2.
Yeah, it was a dumb move, right? Yeah, and maybe the marketing juice from EA will actually give them what they need to put the name out there and get more people to buy the game. But if you're buying a company for almost $500 million and that company only makes one product, right? It just makes one IP, and that one IP doesn't historically sell very well. I actually have to give credit to Respawn, because it feels like I don't think they're worth $455 million.
And EA was already the one publishing the game, so people already associated Titanfall with EA to begin with. They were like, I'm sure, because we know the industry, we know things, but I'm pretty sure that there was plenty of people that thought Titanfall was an EA game. Just
probably, yeah. If you didn't know the history with Respawn and didn't know that they came out of Infinity Ward and all that bullshit, then yes, you probably just assumed you see the EA sticker for publishing, and that's all you see.
Yeah.
And you assume EA did it. So yeah, I can see that. I just think the value is so much higher than I would have put on a company like Respawn. Again, one IP, not necessarily successful. It's a great game. It's probably more them buying the team than it is even really the IP. Because you've got, obviously, the leaders from Infinity Ward, lightning in a bottle, almost struck twice with them. You can consider the fact that they even made Titanfall and got it to be successful. It's pretty hard to do.
And what they did with Titanfall 2 is still like that.
It's a great game.
They added a single player campaign, which is something that bothered people about the first one, and it was super highly reviewed. Like, there's still plenty of people on my friends list that I see playing it because they just keep adding new content into it. Like, I know you don't spend as much time in the Xbox as I do, but they just keep. It's one of these things where they did this kind of the thing Halo did after a while. They were like, oh, we're just going to keep dropping you your free content drops. You don't have to pay us for them. We'll kind of sell you these things on the side, card packs, whatever else, and not to the Battlefront level of card packs. But it's a different business model, and people love the game. And I actually really enjoyed the Titanfall 2 campaign. It was right up there with the Portal campaigns with me, just because of the puzzling and everything else. Like I think I mentioned in the show at the time when I played it, because I really had low expectations, but it was very fast and it was a good mix of shooter and puzzle, kind of like the Portal games. So it had that same kind of feel to it. So I think it's good news for Respawn, obviously, because if they were in danger, now that at least they've got this money coming in. But
It
maybe
almost seems like it was one of the, I don't want to say hostile takeover because that's probably, but you look at EA, you look at their history, you look at how they push companies into joining them, and then ultimately if the IP fails, they close the studio. That's literally the MO, like 9 times out of 10.
like they did with Visceral.
Yeah, like Visceral and every other great company. Not Westing. What was the name of them? They built RPGs. I can't remember. But I mean, it's a countless list, right? I mean, there's like probably 6 or 7 that they've closed within the last decade that had IPs that most people loved. I actually have a feeling a lot of this happened because of Titanfall 2 and its lack of success. If you're a publisher and you see, they're making great games, you figure, man, they probably can't do another round of this. They probably don't have the financial gains in order to make another Titanfall 3. Let's just buy them out when they're in this sort of a limp state. And if we give them enough funding, maybe we'll have a hit on our hands. I feel like that's more of what happened here than it really was them Respawn wanting to do this deal. I just can't imagine them wanting.
I can see that. And with these small startup guys, like when you go from a big giant first-person shooter conglomerate to starting your own thing, like that's what Respawn did with Titanfall. It's what Boss Key did with why am I drawing a blank on the name? Fucking Lawbreakers. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. Like Lawbreakers, for all intents and purposes, should have been an awesome game. I enjoyed it, but there were not the big news story that broke that time was there was that one night on Steam where there were 8 people playing and they were all matched in the same game. That's fucked up.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Sometimes you have a great game, but sometimes your marketing is just not there, or you release, like you said, at the wrong time, which is usually a killer right there too. I think that's likely what happened, and they're gonna get bought out. I mean, it's good for them. It breathes life into the company for now. But we just all know the current we're gonna get. What are we gonna get with Titanfall 3? We're gonna get loot boxes that you got to pay for, that are pay to win. Oh, yeah. You're gonna get you're gonna get DLC that it's now cut out.
Now
so like maybe you'll have
DLC.
some of the campaign, but then you'll have the extra campaign they have to pay $20 for. So you're gonna get all the bad things that come along with
everything that EA does. Yes.
Yeah, shits on games, makes games unfun to play. So we'll see. I wish them the best, but I would not be surprised if in the next 5 years there is no more Respawn. So we'll see.
We'll see. All right, Tiff. Next story.
We're on to this week's What the Fuck story. Streamers suspended from Twitch for playing Pokemon game that came out early in Australia. And this comes from Kotaku. Australian streamer Mark Worcester McKenzie received a temporary ban from Twitch because the service said the Pokemon game he was playing was unauthorized pre-release content, even though he'd bought the game from Nintendo's own store. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was released in the U.S. on November 17, but because of time differences, they hit Australian shelves on November 16th. While on holiday in Germany, Worcester took advantage of his Australian eShop account to get a hold of Ultra Sun and began streaming its first hours live. As Kotaku Australia reports, the stream was soon cut short, however, when Nintendo of America filed a DMCA takedown notice, leaving him understandably unimpressed. He tweeted, "I think buying a game through the eShop is the most legal way you could. Straight from the company. No reseller to distribute at all. And I get suspended for streaming it? Unreal, Nintendo. Plenty of real targets, and you shoot at this guy?" Worcester quickly filed a counterclaim, and his stream was eventually brought back online, though not until after the North American release of the games. Let this be today's reminder that the DMCA takedowns still suck.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
That's
right?
fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is almost like a non-story. It's like
It is a non-story.
Yeah, it's a non-story. It's like, yes, it sucks that Nintendo continues to sort of be. I don't know why, but they continue to be the company that tries to hurt gamers when they're trying to just stream their game. At the same time, it does not surprise me that Nintendo did this. It's almost more surprising that they even allow streaming at all because of the company that they are. For whatever fucked up reason, Nintendo continues
feel like streaming is bad.
Gamers when they want. You have to get like special permission to stream most games, and I think it's like you can't stream. What is it on YouTube? You can't.
You have to be a YouTube partner and a Nintendo partner
partner, and you can't just play You have to be commenting on the game.
Yes, as you play it. You can't just stream.
You can't just show the game.
Yes. Yep.
It's insane. It's nothing but free, like advertising. It's nothing but promoting the game that other gamers are watching these other gamers to see. It's crazy that this is the day and age that they don't sort of get on the bandwagon and start letting people stream. It's nuts.
It almost makes you look paranoid about your own property, that you think that the game does not stand to be replayed, or like you feel like if someone sees a playthrough, they're not going to want to play it themselves. And that doesn't show a lot of confidence in your own game. In a game like Pokemon, like, first off, I don't feel like a lot has changed in these games over the years.
No,
they just
I don't
basically
think so
throw in some more mons, refresh the UI a little bit. It's the same fucking game. So no one is doing anything unique or interesting with Pokemon. So streaming it a day early, like, fuck that. It's no big deal. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I think the thing with it is, well, I see their point of view on some of the games. Like, if you're playing Zelda, one of the things that they said, this was early on, it wasn't specific about Zelda, was that they spend all this time crafting these games and crafting these worlds, and they like the mystery of a gamer going in for the first time and seeing these things, and they don't want any of the story to be ruined when it's your first playthrough, right? They want a new gamer to come in, not know anything about the game and play. I do see value there. The only thing I'll say to that,
no
though,
spoilers
is
thing. Yeah.
It's the gamer's choice of whether or not they want to spoil whatever it is that they're playing. That's my whole argument, is that while that is good intentioned, maybe, if I don't want to see spoilers, if I don't care, or maybe I'm not going to buy the game and I like the guy, the personality that's streaming it, guy or girl, then it doesn't matter anymore. I've made the conscious decision to watch the game, and I'm going to deal with whatever spoilers that I see. So that's the thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, think about all the people that stream these, like the horror games that have like all the jump scares or whatever, and they're basically on rails games. Like, everybody's going to get the same jump scares. Everybody's going to get the same, like, turn around the corner, freak out things. And those guys stream those games, and people still go out and buy them after, even though they know what's coming. And maybe for some people, that's what they want. They're just like, all right, once I get around this corner, I know there's a jump scare. Now I'm not going to freak out. I'm not a pussy, okay? But I don't know. People still buy these games, whether they've seen them or not. I don't know if, and it's not being jingoistic, but maybe this is another one of those things that's the Japanese culture thing that we're still trying to figure out here, where Nintendo does a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand, and a lot of it tends to, in the mainstream gaming media, be blamed on Japanese culture, and maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe.
They definitely seem to love to buck the trend of whatever's happening in gaming at that time, in terms of like
do the opposite.
Yeah, just like everyone's doing streaming. Okay, no one show any of these games. Don't show any games. I don't want to see logos. I don't want to see screenshots. I want to see nothing. I mean, I don't know. I think ultimately, over time, they will probably learn to like this sort of thing. Although I think in the past they've sort of opened up the floodgates, and then they'll, 2 months later you'll hear a story where they're like, you know what, no, and they'll like shut half of it down.
They'll dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, create new requirements that you need to do these sort of things. So, I mean, the guy did technically stream when he wasn't supposed to. I mean, according, again, to their rules. But if you offered the game up and I freely can buy the game, then I'm going to do whatever I want with my product that I paid money for. So I understand why the guy would be pissed. And I think rightfully so, he got his stream obviously reinstated. But yeah, I don't know. It's a shit story because it's the same old Nintendo thing, and it's, mildly interesting for this guy. But still, I think the bigger story here is just that Nintendo doesn't like when gamers promote their games for free.
Gamers, yes.
That's the weirdest part about this story. Yep. Derek, what do you think about the story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over to the mailbag and voicemails, aka Altius's Corner. Altius asks, with EA's closing of Visceral and acquisition of Respawn, what are your thoughts as to what their master plan might be? I've seen lots of speculation on the internet, but I value your opinions more than that.
Well, I mean, our opinion, right? My opinion is always, but we've already sort of talked
that
about
they're just going to close them down.
They're going to close down the studio. Yeah, like it's a fire sale grab, right? It's I think that's maybe a little much, but I think that, like I said, Respawn was probably not down on their luck, but didn't get the amount of sales that they probably thought they were going to get with Titanfall 2. And I think ultimately, as a publisher, EA knows that the group of guys that are over at Respawn are talented, bright individuals that are able to create new IPs that change, gaming usually. I mean, for the most part, Call of Duty, the biggest game of all time, in the FPS genre on a console. And, Titanfall really came out of nowhere, a bootstrapped company after they sort of got kicked out of their own set and did really, fairly well with it. I think if you look at that, you're buying the mines. It's a good buy.
And when you look at it in the terms that Altius is saying, well, you just closed Visceral. You had a Star Wars game that no one was going to like. And now you've got this new guy and this new talent you brought in that was strictly Titanfall talent because that was their thing. And now you're like, hey, guys, you know what? You work for us now. You're not Respawn. You're us. And we need a new Star Wars game that's pretty dope. And maybe instead of, carve off a piece of the team and do that next Titanfall thing we promised, let's carve off another piece of the team, a bigger piece of the team, and let's do a real Star Wars game that has something to show for it, that makes Battlefront look like a piece of shit, makes our old canceled game. People are going to forget about that. And now all of a sudden we're rocking Star Wars again. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing.
It's a good idea to have, because I think if you look at what happened with DICE was really, it was Battlefield, right? That's Battlefield. Yeah. That's what they did. And they knew, having this IP, they knew they needed to give it to a company that they could trust. And Battlefield, whether you like the game or not, is irrelevant. They sell lots of games, and they generally do pretty well in that genre. And so it was a nice fit for them to sort of, really, if you distill it down, people will argue, but Battlefront is just Battlefield.
Battlefield skinned with Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I don't think you'll get a mild debate against that it's different, but realistically, it's close enough. And maybe you'll get something with Titanfall, where their FPS and how they've developed, their game is easily ported over into a Star Wars universe or whatever other IP EA has in store for them. Mm-hmm. That will be interesting. I think ultimately the buy will be for Titanfall 3. And they will attempt to make it a successful game, but we'll see after that. They usually try to use the parts that they've got and do something with them. But I will say EA is not known for unique IPs. Sequel kings of the world. So it's either going to be Titanfall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or an IP that people already know that they then go build. So
in case you guys have forgotten, EA are the Madden 94, 95, 96, 2017, NHL 94, 95, like they've literally been doing some of these games fucking 30 years. Okay.
Totally. That's why Anthem is such a surprise, because you look at an IP like Anthem, you're like, who convinced EA to greenlight this game? Because they don't do that. So, maybe there's a little bit of change going on. Obviously, EA sees that in terms of the marketplace, I think sales now are for games that have just been going on for 30 plus years are in a bit of a decline, and people are now, you look at things like PUBG and all these other games where people are looking for a little bit of genre bend now. They don't want the same thing. Overwatch is similar in that sense, and how the MOBAs are blending and all these things are sort of changing now. They need some of that injected into the company if they want to be successable. So we'll see what happens. Though
it's worked out well for Bungie and Bungie and Destiny.
True.
They bent some genres, and they've got love it or hate it. Like there's a huge fan base of Destiny, and you go watch YouTube, you go watch Twitch, whatever. There's people constantly producing content because they love that game, and there's people constantly absorbing that content because they love that game. So, genre bend a little bit and see what happens. All right. Well, if any fantastic questions like Altius, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment on this episode thread in the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors. We got none because they're douchebags. So you want to sponsor us? 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You tell us what you're selling. We'll tell us what you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related is at twitter.com/still_got_game. king of the internet. Got everything that's fucking holding me. Twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
I'm at twitter.com/Judah.rock.
I'm at twitter.com/electrify.
I'm at twitter.com/i6hitman.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/tool to play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/Judah.rock.
Facebook.com/Tiff Nolan.
Facebook.com/i6hitman.
We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/tool to play. That's the place to find all of Tool to Play's archive video content, whether it's episode of this show, whether it's live streams, whether it's old shows like Tiff's immature interviews that she's bringing back in I think February 9th, she's bringing it back. Whether it's Hits Quick Hits that he's bringing back on December 26th, 27th. I forget what date he gave, but he's bringing that back. All of the shows are coming back, and all that archive video content is going to go to youtube.com/tool to play. So go there, subscribe, and you'll be notified of all of our upcoming YouTube content. Also, please rate and review the podcast. We need some 5-star reviews in iTunes. So go to iTunes, pull up Still Got Game, give us a little 5 stars. And you know what? If you get an extra 5 seconds, write a little something nice. Derek D. Smooth Nolan, love the hair. Joel Rock Albert, love the hat. Joel Rock Albert, hate the beard. Whatever you want to say. Could be positive, could be negative. Hit, love the white headset. Hit, love the green screens. Hit, love the producing. Tiff, love the news. Doesn't matter. You can comment any of us, all of us, doesn't matter. So we also have this thing we're on right now. It's our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/tooltoplay. It is where we do our live video content. Whether it's this show, whether it's other live shows, whether it's our game streaming, whether we're streaming directly to our Twitch channel, whether we're streaming on our own channels and they're part of our fucking Twitch fucking collective that all goes to the Twitch Tool to Play Twitch channel. Doesn't matter. Go to twitch.tv/tool to play. Go there, follow us. You'll be notified whenever we go live, and you'll be able to watch our shit. But more important than that, subscribe. That little subscribe button there is how you directly give back to the show. It is the most direct way to support this show. So if you click subscribe, you help out the show. It costs you $5 a month. Whatevs. No big deal. But you're like, hey, $5 a month? That is a big deal. Too much for me. You know what? You are probably an Amazon Prime subscriber, because if you're not, you're an idiot. Like, you get all your shipping 2 days, fucking costs you nothing when you cost average it over the year. So you're probably Amazon Prime. So if you are Amazon Prime, guess what? You're also Twitch Prime. You know what Twitch Prime is? It lets you pick one Twitch channel every single month and subscribe absolutely free. Costs you nothing, gives us $5. Costs you nothing, gives us $5. Costs you nothing, gives us $5. So if you're Amazon Prime, then you are Twitch Prime. The only caveat is you have to come back in each and every month and re-click that subscribe button for free. Costs you nothing, gives us $5. I know. I'm going to keep hammering that in because it really is the important part of this. Because I'm sure out of all of you out there, especially the people that listen to the show and that don't never even watch us, you guys, some of you, probably most of you are Amazon Prime subscribers. So just go out there, pull up Twitch, fucking go to the show, twitch.tv/tooltoplay, and subscribe. Use your free Twitch Prime subscription that you got for having Amazon Prime. Gives us $5, costs you nothing. Help us out. Throw a brother a bone, right? Come on. Help us out. All right. Well, before we wrap up, I remind you all, you can join us each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/tooltoplay. And on that, why don't we wrap this episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I'm Joel Rock Albert.
I'm Tiffany Electrify Nolan.
I'm Roger Hitman Roken.
Gives us $5, costs you nothing.